Welcome to another cooking video. My name is Jay. Today we're gonna make a simple Filipino dish, simple comfort dish in fact, because the weather outside sucks. So today we're gonna stay inside, we're gonna cook some nice comfort food. Today's dish is a Filipino dish called Nilaga. Nilaga is a simple beef soup made with cabbage, carrots, potatoes, so very simple to make and very few ingredients that you're gonna need. In addition to that, I'm going to show you how to use one of these. You know what this is? This is a pressure cooker. It is a staple in a lot of Asian kitchens. But at a time in the past, I was afraid of using these things a lot. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that don't know the first thing about using one of these. So today I'm going to show you a few tips on how to use one of these safely. It cuts down a lot of the time with the beef that we're going to be cooking. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. The ingredients for today's dish are going to be very simple. So, of course, we're going to start with our beef. So we're going to need about a half a kilo of some good quality beef. In this case, I got some Angus beef chuck that I got. It's well marbled and everything, so it's going to give us some good flavor there. And I'm going to cut it into cubes just like stew. You can use stewing beef as well, but I find that stewing beef is too lean. So moving on, we got ourselves some carrots. So I got 2 large carrots here, as well as 1 large onion. And you're also going to need some potatoes. Potatoes I got in the sink somewhere. I just washed them. But if you're going to use the big russet potatoes, you're going to need about 2 large potatoes. Okay. Now I also have a head of garlic that we're going to mince. And as well, I got some of this cabbage. I'm going to wedge it out. This is some leftover cabbage that I had from making okonomiyaki a few nights ago. Also, we're going to need some salt and pepper to season, some whole peppercorns, in addition to fish sauce. Now, fish sauce in the Philippines is called patis. So look for either or. You can find them at your local Asian supermarket. So we have all that. You're also going to need some water, but you know, water. So let's move on. Start with 2 tablespoons of canola oil in your pot, and we're going to saute our onions and the garlic. After about 5 or 6 minutes of sweating out the onions and garlic, it's time to add the beef. Now stir the beef around a little bit till it gets lightly browned, and then of course you're going to add the 1 liter of water, 10 peppercorns, and the fish sauce. Okay, so at this point of the recipe, I'm going to be putting the lid on this thing and I'm going to be cooking the beef. Now normally in a normal situation it would take about an hour, hour and a half, but today we're going to use a pressure cooker and probably going to get it done in about half the time. So we're looking at about half an hour, maybe 35 minutes at most. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on this thing and I'm going to seal it. So the first thing that you're going to know about any pressure cooker is the lid, and it's the most important part of this because it has a lot of vital parts. Now one of them is being this valve right here. Now this valve inside is normally down, but as the pressure and heat build up inside, what it's going to do is it's going to push this plug up like this. And what it's going to do in fact is it's going to push the entire lid and it's going to create a seal. Now this seal is going to be held shut with this rubber gasket which runs around the edge of the lid. So as the moisture builds, it's going to create a tight seal. Now, this hole here is going to relieve the pressure inside and basically regulate it at a constant rate. And it's going to create a lot of heat and it's going to make this thing cook a lot faster. So that's what we're going to do. Now the one rule of thumb with any pressure cooker is you want to fill it with liquid, but you don't want to overfill it because if you overfill it, it's going to boil over and come out of this little hole. Okay, so what you want to do, rule of thumb, is you want to fill it with liquid about halfway and you don't want to go over half. So what I got it going on here is I got this thing boiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap this lid on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap this lid on. Normally it comes with these arrows here so you can line it up so that'll shut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lock it in place. Now as you can see here, It is locked. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this thing on top, just like that. Now as soon as I did that, this thing popped up into position, which means that there is a seal being created right now. Now you see that? As you can see right there, that's pressure. So at this point, you don't want to be opening it anytime soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this thing to start whistling. It's going to give off some pressure and it's just going to kind of sound like that. And when that happens, I'm going to lower the temperature to about medium and let it go at a constant rate. And it's going to go easy, like a steam engine. Okay, so we turned our heat down to about medium, and as you can hear it, gentle. Gentle and steady. That's the way you want it to go. So I got 35 minutes on the clock, and that's how long we're going to cook our beef. Okay, so our 30 minutes is up, and as you can see here, we're still going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this thing up. But I'm going to show you how to open it safely. Let's go. So what I got is I got this thing in the sink. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run some cold water over the lid. That cold water is going to slowly lower the temperature inside, and eventually this seal here is going to go down. And when that does, that is going to tell me that the pressure has been relieved enough for me to open that lid safely. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to run this cold water over the top. And as you can see, that thing just popped down. So I should be able to take this off. And there we go. At this point, after 35 minutes, let's take a look at how our beef looks. Fork tender after 30 minutes. So there you go. Okay, now that our beef is pretty much done, I'm going to add the carrots and the potatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them under the pressure again for only a few minutes. It should only take about 5 or 6 minutes to do. It won't take very long. Now, alternatively, you can just put the lid on loose and cook it normally until they're tender. Okay, so after a few minutes of the potatoes and the carrots cooking under the pressure, I opened her up again, and I'm just going to finish it off with the rest of the vegetables, the soft stuff. And I'm not going to need the pressure for this one because they're going to cook up really fast on their own. So I got the cabbage that I just wedged up. I'm just going to add it like this. And I got myself some green beans as well. I'm going to throw them in. Okay, I'm just going to mix this all up, give it a good stir, slap the lid on, but without pressure. And I'm just going to let it cook down until my vegetables are tender, and then we're going to be ready to plate up. Okay, here we are after our cabbage and our beans have cooked for just a few minutes. Looks like we're ready to rock. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Let's give it a try. This soup is very, very easy to make. And like I said, very few ingredients. Because a lot of the flavor from this broth is going to come from the beef, as well as the fish sauce and the cabbage. Okay, so it's going to bring a lot of interesting flavors together. Now what you want to do before you serve it is give it a taste, put some salt and pepper to season. See, that's good. Very good. Comfort food at its best. So that is Nilaga. Try it out at home, have fun in the kitchen, and until next time, take care.
There's still more peas. Keep picking. Chop, chop. That's one. This is one. Chop, chop. Get to work.